What's going on, all my fellow bait chuckers out there? My name is Michael. Welcome back to the channel. We have a little bit of a different video for you today because we're uploading this video not only on the bait chucking channel, but the 8-Bit Baits channel as well. Yep, we have a separate channel specifically for the 8-Bit Baits Holoshift powders and all the other stuff that's going to be coming out in the future. Really just a business-oriented YouTube page. If the Holoshift powders and all that fun stuff is something that you're interested in, then this video is for you, and you're definitely going to want to go over and subscribe to the 8-Bit Baits channel. Now, don't worry, I'm not changing any of the content over here on the bait chucking channel. The 8-Bit Baits channel is really a place for the business. It's so I can, put product videos, so I can embed them on the website, things like that. But there will be more talking head videos just like this one here that are going to be very informational, and I'd rather have those over on the 8-Bit Baits channel, really, because that's what that stuff's focused on, rather than kind of block up or clog the bait chucking channel. Moving into 2024, I really want to focus on a lot of bait making, a lot of fishing, and start to bring in a lot of that gear review that I've been talking about and just haven't really gotten to do yet. So all that fun stuff coming in the next year. So again, this is going to be a little bit of a different type of video. It's going to be very talking head. So if you want to skip forward to different parts of the video, if there's a particular piece of information that's based around the Holoshift powders that you're looking for, feel free. Everything's chaptered down below, and you can go ahead and skip to the part that interests you the most. But I really would like to start off by thanking all of you and just kind of doing a quick little recap of 2023. You're watching this video on New Year's Day, January 1st, 2024, which marks the 1-year anniversary since I started the Bait Chucking channel here on YouTube. And I gotta say, thanks to all of you, the subscribers and the viewers, it's been one heck of a year. Let's recap some notes. So for one full year of YouTube here on the Bait Chucking channel, we amassed a total of 3,223 subscribers as of the time of this video. That's just crazy to me. I've been doing YouTube a long time, and to get 3,000 subs in 1 year, I think is doing extremely well. I'm very proud of that, and I'm also very thankful and humbled because if it wasn't for all of you in the community, I wouldn't be where I am today with this channel and with 8-Bit Baits and everything like that. So thank you to all of you for welcoming me into the bait making community, and also thank you for the support, the viewership, the thumbs up, the subscriptions, the sharings of the videos, all of that. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for all of you, the viewers. So again, from my family to you and yours, thank you very much. I sincerely appreciate it. And you all are savages too, because listen to some of these statistics here. So we output a total of 27 videos in 2023, just a little bit more than 2 per month. I'll get better at that, don't worry, I'm sorry. And we did 17 live streams on top of that as well. 3,223 subscribers, a total of 151,000 views. Watch time came in at nearly 20,000 hours, 19.8K to be exact. Total number of impressions, over 2 million impressions here across YouTube. We have a click-through rate of 4.9%, and here's the kicker, the one that I'm extremely proud of. Average watch time of 8 minutes and 35 seconds. So all of you, when you're clicking on the videos, that's letting me know that you're at least finding it entertaining enough to watch for 8 minutes and 35 seconds on average. So hopefully we can extend that time even more in 2024. We got lots of great content on the way. And last but not least, 56.5% of you are not subscribed. That's right, only 43.5% of my viewers are subscribed. So just imagine what all that would be if the other half of you hit that subscribe button. I don't know what you're waiting for. I mean, it's free. I worked out a deal with YouTube, so just click that subscribe button, because we got some cool stuff happening over here. So 2023 was a very interesting year, not only for me, but, just for the Bait Chucking channel in general. And now I'm the owner of my own company. If you would have told me all of this was going to happen when I posted my first video a year ago, I'd have thought you were crazy. So the bait chucking channel really started kind of as an experiment. I had done some media work and YouTube work in the past, but I really wanted to start a channel around something, not only that I loved, but that could potentially grow into something into the future. I had no idea we'd be where we are today when this started, but that was, I think like any YouTuber, that's the initial thought in mind. Let's at least, hey, if I can do something that I love and make videos around it and potentially make a living out of it, I mean, that sounds like a winning proposition to me. So I started making bait making videos to go along with bass fishing because, I'm relatively new into the bass fishing market. And I figured, well, let's just document my journey through this whole bait making and bass fishing adventure. I mean, why not? And things kind of took a turn in March of this year. And up until March of 2023, I was the portfolio manager for the largest gaming audio portfolio of hardware in the industry. Something, again, I'm pretty proud of. However, in March, just due to the market and various things, I got hit with layoffs like a lot of other people. This is actually the first time kind of openly talking about it. It's kind of relieving and empowering at the same time to be able to say that. So things changed back in March. And now, while I realized I can always go back to that world, here's a chance to really hunker down. I have the opportunity to really hunker down and focus on something that I love. And, now is the time, because like I said, I can always go back. I can always go back to that over there. And that was really the spark that really kind of pushed me over the edge to start 8-Bit Baits. So I've been making baits for just over a year at this point, and I thought to myself, well, if I'm going to make a go at it, I want to do something that's going to be fun, something I'm into, something I enjoy, and the bait making side of things really is someplace that I felt I could bring a level of innovation to. And I don't mean innovation in the sense of I'm not really inventing any of these powders here, right? These are already pre-made, and I'm really just kind of sourcing and importing materials at the moment. But I felt that after analyzing the entire kind of bait making market, I found this niche, right? This need, a lot of people wanting the just higher grade glitters, pigments, colors, and of all the different areas of bait making, I realized this was the biggest gap. This was the area that I think bait makers are really just kind of being underserved, not only in the Plastisol side of things, but for all of you that do airbrushing, clear coat resins, and things of that nature. So I wanted to take everything I had learned, because the stuff I do in the headset world, hot plastic injection, all the material sourcing, material science, CMF, all the colors, materials, and finishing, all of that knowledge really directly applies to what we're doing here around bait making. You simply just take the requirements that we need for mixing into Plastisol, and then what are the different supplies and pigments and so forth out there that will fit within those requirements. Now, I think there's definitely been a little bit of a gap filler already. There's several companies kind of bringing mica based powders to the market right now. So, playing in that space isn't really wise right now, because we have people who are importing these mica powders at very large volumes. They're already charging a premium for them, and if I were to kind of get into a discount race with them, it's just not something that I want to do. And there's no real innovation there. There's nothing really new being brought to the market, and that's not what I'm about. I have a long history of innovation. I'm on multiple patents in the space over there in the gaming audio world, and I really want to bring some of that over to bait making and do something that's different, and that way I can still play nice with everyone else, right? I think there's a gap in the market that I'm trying to fill with the Holoshift powders. Now, as a result of all that, I stumbled across the Holoshift powders, and I got to tell you, I'm super impressed. I hope a lot of you are impressed as well. But they're not cheap. I'm very well aware of the fact that these are not inexpensive. However, that being said, they are some of the highest grade powders that I've come across, and I know from various different industries. Now, these are silica dioxide based, okay? Very different than mica powders that you traditionally find right now. I think we already have players in the market that are selling 5-gram baggies, and they usually run around the $40 to $45 range. A 5-gram jar of the Holoshift powders retails for $60. that's not cheap, and 5 grams is not a lot of powder. However, it is incredibly small. It's only 40 microns in particle size. So there is actually quite a bit packed into this little 5-gram jar. And luckily, because of the effects that we're going to use it for, you don't necessarily need a ton of the powder if you're mixing it into Plastisol, even if you're airbrushing, doing clear coats, things of that nature. All right, so why don't we just kind of dive right into it. What is a silica-based powder? Why is this better than the mica powders that are out there? And why on earth should people be paying $60? Well, I'm not here to sell you on the product, but I am here to kind of give you the information that you need, right, to make your own decisions. Now, again, I'm a portfolio/product manager. That's what I've done for years and years. So I've taken kind of that product manager approach to this. So, you know, I'm no marketing expert, but I'm here to give you kind of all the benefits and why you should be using silica dioxide powders over top of mica. Now, one thing I want to make very clear is that these Holoshift powders are not designed to make solid colors, okay? You get solid colors with some of the mica powders that are on the market today, and if their solid color is what you're going after, I highly advise you to stick with those options that are available to you in the market today. Those are going to be much more cost effective than these powders here, and if you're looking for a solid, opaque colorway, those are going to meet your needs a lot better than the Holoshift powders will. You can get pretty close, but with the powders being optically clear, it's quite hard to get them to where it just blocks everything out and makes a solid color. I mean, you basically need a full jar to do that, and again, I don't recommend you dumping an entire jar into a 1 cup of Plastisol. That would just be ridiculously expensive. So we'll get the proper application use later on in the video. Again, everything is chaptered down below, so go ahead and in the description below, feel free to click one of the chapters and jump to the corresponding chapter that you need to get to. All right, so what are some of the benefits that we get from silica dioxide? Well, first off is the extreme heat resistance. The silica dioxide powders have a very high heat resistance, so they can withstand multiple reheats. We're going to be cooking most of our Plastisol around 350 to 400 degrees. These can withstand that just fine, and they can also withstand it for long periods of time too. That's very important. If any of you are going to get crazy enough and you want to throw some of this shifty powder inside of your shooting star because you're going to be doing a production run, you're going to want some material that can not only withstand the high heat, but you want to be able to withstand that high heat for long periods of time. And this is where silica dioxide really comes into play. It can withstand that high heat for long periods of time, multiple hours at a time before it starts to degrade, and it's going to have the highest quality shimmer as well compared to that of the mica powder because of the reflectivity of the SiO2 powders that it's made of. So in addition to the heat resistance, the highest grade quality shimmer and light refraction that we're going to get, and that's very important to also note out that because the powders are optically clear, right, which is another additional bullet point there, we're talking about light refraction. As light enters the powder, refracts and exits the other side. We're not talking about reflection, which is what you get typically with the mica powder. So everything we're dealing with here on the SiO2 powders, this is all dealing with light refraction, which is why we get that highest quality shimmer possible out of a material. So in addition to all that, they are chemical and solvent resistant, which is awesome if you're going to use this in a clear coat application, whether it's resin, epoxy resin, a full epoxy clear coat, polyurethane, any of those, it should hold up nicely. Now, I haven't tested it with every single solvent out there. I've tested it with a few of them, and the basics, polyurethane, resin, epoxy, it holds up just fine because, again, it's SiO2 based, it's silica based, very, very durable stuff. Because of that chemical resistance, it's also going to hold up to airbrushing. So if you want to mix this into a lacquer clear coat or an acrylic clear coat, either one, it's going to mesh fine with both of those. You should not have any issues. I've sent powders to a couple of airbrushers that I know. They've all reported back with great results and confirmed that you can, in fact, airbrush them, not only because of the chemical resistance, but also because of the incredibly small micron size. These are 40 micron, 40 micron, incredibly small. So as long as you're using a properly sized airbrush needle, you'll be just fine airbrushing these in a paint application. Also, because of the extremely small particle size and they're so lightweight, when you do mix up the Holoshift powders into lacquers, epoxy resins, Plastisol, it actually creates a 10% aqueous suspension. So what that means is these are actually going to suspend in the liquid. They're not just going to race to the bottom and sink like a mica powder or your glitter will in traditional Plastisol. So even if you're someone who likes to pour really hot because you're doing multiple layers and skin pours, you're going to get a ton of working time with the Holoshift powders because they don't sink to the bottom right away like other powders. You're going to get lots of working time with these. Okay, so now that you know a little bit more about SiO2 powders and some of their benefits over mica, we can kind of cover what the powders actually do and, why are they called Holoshift powders? Why not Hypershift? Well, they do have hyper shifting capabilities, and typically with a color shift in the car world, you're talking about a 2-color change, right? So 2 colors, color A, color B, and going from one and converting over to the other at a particular refraction point. And in fact, speaking of refraction points, with the Holoshift powders, the refraction point is at 60 degrees, 60 degrees. So as long as you're within 60 degrees angle of when the light hits the powder and reflects off, that's where you're going to start to see the color shift starting to happen. But these are definitely in the hypershift realm, meaning they shift between 3 or more colors. Some are down to 3 colors, some typically are over to 4, and sometimes you'll get 2 colors, but you also get the shifting of the 2 as they blend into one another, creating that 3rd color. So some of them you may only see 2 or 3 colors listed in the description on the 8-Bit Baits website, but as you turn it and refract it, because it is a hypershift style powder, you are going to get that 3rd color blending as you cross from one color over into the next. So the hyper color shifting is where the shift side of the name actually comes from, because you see multiple colors as the bait is changing. The hologram side of things comes because, well, when you look at the powder, you certainly see the hologram effect, just like you're looking at hologram glitter. But you also get the hologram effect as if you're actually looking at a hologram, like something out of Star Wars or Star Trek. At certain angles, you see the light refractivity and you start to see the color change of the bait. But at other angles, when you hold it up, the light shines completely through it and the color shift completely disappears. So when you start to look at the back of the tail, or if you hold it up to the light, or if you get directly underneath it, you start to realize, like, wow, you can't even see it, which adds just another layer of dimensionality to your baits, because as it's flowing through the water, if you just use a drop or two of black or a drop or two of your other primary base colors, you're going to get that see-through effect, and it just, as you get the body roll, it just is an effect that you really have to see to believe. It looks amazing in the water, and it's extremely lifelike. Just like a school of baitfish in the water, when they're swimming, you see them for 1 second, they make one small turn, and you don't see them at all. They like completely disappear in the water. Very similar here. When this turns and at certain angles of the light, it just completely disappears, and all you see is a shadow of an outline of a bait. And it just is a level of realism that I haven't seen yet in any other type of powder. And that really kind of covers the 4-dimensionality of the Holoshift powders. They're optically clear, so they disappear. They have the hologram glitter effect. They have the color shifting properties, and they have the highest level shimmer of any other type of powder pigment on the market. 4 key points when you're going to be mixing these into a Plastisol type environment. Because again, remember, when we're mixing into Plastisol with hypershifts, even when the bait hardens, we're really kind of looking at it in its liquid form. It's just solidified liquid here. Now, if we want an even more reflectivity, if you want more color shifting, this is where either an airbrush application is going to come into play, so you get much more better layering, right? Or you can even do a skin pour and then brush the powder on from the back. And when you brush the powder on, you're going to cover that surface area. You're going to spread that powder out instead of it floating in its liquid form, and you're going to get that surface reflectivity as if you were using it to airbrush on, and you're going to get even more extreme reflectivity and color shift than just mixing it with a drop or two of black. Lots of different ways that you can use the Holoshift powders and apply them, and I personally can't wait to see what all of you do with these. This color here, in fact, isn't even out yet. This is Vice City, one of the new colors that are actually on the way. Now, the recipe that I recommend if you're going to be mixing the Holoshift powders into Plastisol, I recommend starting with 1 cup of Plastisol, okay? You're gonna wanna heat it up, start with it clear. Take your 1/16 teaspoon, okay? And you're gonna do half of a 1/16 teaspoon, or if you have a 32nd teaspoon, you can do a nice 32nd teaspoon as well. But half of a 1/16 teaspoon of powder, drop it in, and mix it into clear Plastisol first. And I say to do that because I want you to take a look at how the colors start to refract. Some of the colors here, like the Borealis and the Solar Sugar, these are true aurora interference powders. So if you start with some of these in clear Plastisol, just look at the Plastisol. I encourage you, take the cup with the powder mixed in of clear Plastisol, hold it up to the light, and take a look as you raise and lower it, how the angle changes. And some of these, Borealis and Solar Sugar specifically, they just give an amazing aurora in the cup. And if you pour those into a bait, you will get that same prism rainbow effect in your baits as well. So start there with clear Plastisol and 1/2 of a 16th of powder. And I encourage you, start there, pour a set of baits, see what you think. From there, you can throw those clear baits back in. You can remelt them down again. Again, you don't have to worry about it because you're not going to damage the powder. And then you can add 1 drop of black of your choice. Dead on black works, Lure works, black works, even the MF black, that works as well. Start with 1 drop of black, mix it in, and shoot a bait. I don't recommend going any more than 3 drops maximum. Just to start off with, please, 1 drop or 2 drops, just trust. Mix it in, you can always remelt it and add more later, okay? But start with that, and that will start to give you a real good idea of what the color shift is gonna do in your bait. Now, you can start to add more drops afterwards to account for thickness and things like that in your bait. Every single bait's going to pour differently, so you also have to keep that in mind. Every bait's going to show color differently. Every bait's going to reflect light differently. So start small and work your way up to a recipe that you're comfortable with. But that's where I'm at here for a lot of the baits and all the ones that you see pictured on the website and most of the videos I've been doing on Instagram and YouTube. 1/2 of a 16th teaspoon for 1 cup of Plastisol and 1 to 2 drops of black. That's it, and you get amazing looking results. These are awesome powders, and I can't wait to see what all of you come up with using them. If you look at the 8-Bit Baits website right now, you will see there is a total of 13 colors. There's 8 colors that are what I would call the solid style colors. These are colors that are going to tint the Plastisol. They're still optically clear, but these are very predominant in their reflectivity. So these are going to color enhance the Plastisol a bit more and even give you more coverage in an airbrush application if that's what you're going for. We also have 5 interference powders, I would call them, because they're not really a pearl powder, they're really more of interference powders. These are, again, still optically clear, and these will not color tint the Plastisol. These bring that same level of reflectivity, shimmer, optically clear disappearance, all of that in a translucent form. And we have 5 of the pearl powders available now, and then we have another 6 pearl powders that are going to be coming very, very soon that are coming in the next order. We've already gone through almost our entire shipment of the first order that we got. And again, I can't thank all of you enough. The last 2 weeks now of the store being open has been just mind-blowing for me. We've had over 53 orders. I never thought it would be this successful right out of the gate. Almost all of the 1 gram jars have completely sold out. don't worry, more is on the way and in larger quantities. We were able to take all the sales from the first set of powders that we put up for sale, and we just dumped all of that right back into the very next order. So we are restocking all the initial 13 colors, as well as bringing 6 more colors in this next order, and they are all in the Holoshift Pearl lineup, so expect them to have the same great colors and reflectivity and shiftiness of all the Holoshift powders you're using right now. Now, a little sneak peek into the future. I'm aware that the Holoshift powders are extremely expensive for a lot, if not most all of you, so don't worry, I have some more cost-effective powders in development and on the way as well. I say in development only because they've been tested out by the factory, and I'm waiting to get my hands on some samples. Those are coming with the next order. So in the follow-up order, once I get my hands on them and I can verify with some testing, well, I will have much more cost-effective powders available. Now, these would be lower grade, meaning they're not going to be hyper shift. These are going to be more 2-shift style colors, but still optically clear. It's still bringing you all the heat resistance and the chemical resistance that you want, even in a micron size that will still allow you to airbrush as well. So that is codenamed Pixie Dust, so be looking for a launch of Pixie Dust in the future. We're also working on some Diamond Dust as well as Siren Scales as well. I will just leave you with those names as a teaser for now, but be looking for more coming in the springtime on those. And that's really it. I just really wanted to give all of you an info dump on 8-Bit Baits, on the Holoshift powders. If you have any questions, please feel free. You can email me directly. You can leave a comment down below. You can even head over to the 8-Bit Baits website. We have a customer contact form there. You can put in your information and you can privately send your message that way if you don't want to drop a comment here on YouTube. Lots of ways to get a hold of me. Very happy to answer any questions that I can right now. I am a one-man show at the moment, so I'm currently pushing to get all orders packed and shipped within 24 hours. So far, we're on top of that. It'd be nice if the shipping companies could update their tracking and would stop losing packages. That would be awesome. But outside of that, I think everything is going fantastically well so far. And again, I can't thank all of you enough for the amazing support at the launch of 8-Bit Baits. This has been awesome. So yeah, first year in the books. Over 3,200 subscribers, a brand new business. We are hitting 2024 full steam ahead. I got lots of great content on the way. I will do my darndest to try and get you as much content as possible. The boat's getting fixed, it's getting rebuilt. We're gonna have a brand new motor, a brand new lower. This should be tip-top condition, ready for the season. Eric's got his big swim bait rod now. We're going to be hunting for giants. I found out Jacob from Into the Woods lives close by. We're going to be doing lots of fishing with him on the Delta, on Clear Lake. Maybe we can even get up to Berryessa. Lots more collabs planned with other YouTubers as well. So please, everybody, stick around. We got lots of stuff coming your way. Until next time, y'all know who it is. Your friend on this end, Michael, out here around these Delta sloughs, reminding you to keep on chucking. I'll get back with you.